siedzi, tam Stasiek Ozimek.
Ja chcę pierogi.
Pierogi to dajcie, chłopcy, raz, dwa.
They are very fine. Pierogi, hey, they are very fine. If you buy them, you will like them too, for just a dime. Pierogi too, for just a dime. Pierogi too.
Hello, Tobias here with my Tom Daniels group build for 2016. If you haven't guessed it yet, it's the Pierogi Woz. Which is basically Polish for Pierogi Wagon. And it's basically started out as Tom Daniels Pie Wagon, built almost straight stock, with just a few modifications and special decals that I made up myself. A few things about the kit. I'm gonna go ahead and take it off the stand here real quick, and then we'll talk about it a little more. There we go. Alright, now we have the kit there. Like I said, I built it almost straight stock. Originally what I had done is I had built the following the instructions and put the suspension all together and then the interior together and then tried to put it all together. And the problem I had was when you try to get these to the body together here, if you haven't got the radiator in place, the radiator is going to split the seam, and this seam, you really have to tape it all down in order to hold this body together. Otherwise, you're going to do a lot of filling and everything. Send the music for a bit. So that's one of the biggest problems I had, is getting that body to fit together right. But some advice I would give is do not build it according to the instructions given. Build the interior, get the engine together, get all that in place, and then get the radiator in place. And once you have all that done, then get the body together. And then once you have the body together, attach the suspension and the wheels and everything in place. If you do it that way, you'll have fewer problems getting everything to glue and get everything set. Couple of modifications I made, as you can probably tell. Let's move our pierogi spokesperson out of the way, and we'll talk about her in a little bit. The inside, you have an oversized pierogi for the shifter instead of an apple. I replaced the pie rack in the back with a large pierogi saying pierogi powered on it. And then up front, we have another pierogi for the radiator cap. All the pierogis were made out of stock from, or made from scratch, like all good pierogis are. They're homemade, except these were made out of air dry clay and then covered with squadron white putty, and then formed and shaped into place. And then decals added were necessary, and holes drilled were necessary. The decals, like I had mentioned, were all custom. I made them myself, basically downloading things off of the internet, like the large Polish eagle for the roof. And on the side here, we have the Pierogi Woz, which came from Whiting, Indiana's Pierogi Fest. You can see the dancing pierogis there. And I kept all the information on the bottom for the trademark and everything. We see here the little PW. That is the Polish anchor, which was used for the Polish Home Army during World War II, and then later used by the Solidarity movement. So to pay homage to those guys, I also added that to the vehicle and back and on the sides. You see a little pierogi powered on the back here. That actually was the same as the yellow ones on the side here. However, on the clear decal sheet, the yellow just fades away on the red. So I was thinking about taking it off, but I decided in the long run, what the heck, I'll just leave it there. You also notice maybe the license plate P space R0G1 Pierogi. And you also see up here monogram, and on the other side Tom Daniel. All of those were taken from somewhere on the internet. I just lost my rear lantern. I haven't glued it in place yet, but and if you notice, I had to make a new spot on the back, as I mentioned online already somewhere. I lost the lantern holder, so I just made a new one out of evergreen styrene. Another thing about this is if you're going to want this door closed or fit right, you're going to need to just glue it in place. It doesn't fit perfectly, but I was going to have it open anyway, so I didn't glue it in place, so it can open and close. This can come off. It's very tricky to pull that off. If you do that, then you can see the flathead engine a little bit better. Other than that, you notice you've got gold and silver parts, and for the chroming, and it worked out pretty good. Now, I decided to also make a spokesperson for it, so I went and got the Masterbox United States Air Force girl, because I liked the service cap that she had, but I wanted to change it and turn it into a rotifska, which is a Polish hat, which is basically diamond shape, and it's was used by their service men. It's also used by their Boy Scouts, police officers, and everything up until recent times, and it's basically a national symbol of Poland, the rotifska. And so instead of doing it in an army gray-green, I decided to do it in red and white, because after all, those are the colors of Poland. And if you notice, she's standing on the checkerboard, which is a symbol of Poland also, but we have the pierogi powered in the middle of it. The Masterbox figures go together pretty well, and they look pretty good. I'm not the greatest painter of them. Let me see if I can get it to focus here, like so many people do. But I think I did an alright job with her, and she's kind of nice. And if you notice on the back here, she too is pierogi powered. So, and when you put her next to the model kit, then it all kind of comes together much better. So that was my Tom Daniels group build. Very happy with the final result. Much better than a just plain red pie wagon, and it was a whole lot of fun to do, especially giving it a little flair for another nationality and stuff. We had the Tijuana taxi, which is obviously towards Hispanics, and then you had the paddy wagon for the Irish, but you have a few other things out there too, like George Barris's rickshaw. And some of those are dated and seem a little bit almost like it's poking fun at people. I'm hoping that this is seen as more of a tribute to the Polish people and not making fun of them, especially considering the pierogi is almost considered a national dish among Poles, especially here in America. So that's where I was going with it, and at the end of the day, I think I'm pretty happy with it. My intent, like I said, was to show tribute to the Poles, not to poke fun at them. And hopefully it came across the right way. In any case, that is my Tom Daniel group build for 2016, at least my first one. I will probably be doing a couple more in the near future, but my next model will probably be something else. A lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon.